We have never added a new programming language to Android, and today we're making Kotlin an officially supported language in Android.
So at the latest Google I/O conference, Google announced that soon Android Studio would support Kotlin development out of the box. This is big news, but if you don't know what Kotlin is, then it might have gone over your head slightly. So basically, Kotlin is a programming language, and now it's going to serve as an alternative to coding in Java when you build your Android apps. It's a little more modern in some ways than Java, and it's probably a lot simpler for a beginner. So in this video, I'm going to go over 10 reasons why you should consider using Kotlin for your next app project. So number 1, Kotlin is super easy to set up. People have been developing apps with Kotlin for a while now using a plugin available through Android Studio. But going forwards, as of Android Studio 3.0, starting a Kotlin project is going to be as simple as ticking a box that says support Kotlin development. So it's very easy to get started, and there's really nothing stopping you from diving in and giving it a go. Number 2, it's interoperable with Java. Try saying that 5 times quickly. So basically what this means is that the two languages are very similar, and you can use Java commands and Java libraries in the same program that you're developing with Kotlin. So this means that there's nothing you can't do because you can always just fall back on Java. Number 3 is that it reduces boilerplate. So basically boilerplate code refers to any lines of code that you need to write out lots and lots of times that don't really serve any purpose for the function of your application. Kotlin's been designed in a way that it stops you having to do this, and basically you have to write a lot fewer lines. And this is also partly what makes it easier for a beginner. So that's a big benefit, and across the rest of this video, I'm going to point out some specific examples of how it achieves this. Number 4 is the synthetic extension. So synthetic is an extension for Kotlin that can add to its functionality, and it's really useful. Basically, with a single line of code at the top of your script, you're able to avoid ever having to write find view by ID again. You can identify your views and then just refer to them anywhere within your code. This is an example of saving boilerplate. It saves you having to write hundreds of lines across the course of a big project, and it's one of my favourite advantages of using Kotlin for development. Number 5 is that you can pick your own programming philosophy. So basically, programming languages come in, well, a variety of flavours, but the two main ones are object-oriented and procedural. This basically changes the structure and the organisation of your project. And there are advantages to using object-oriented, which is what Java uses, but it is a little more complicated and everyone has their own preferences. Basically, with Kotlin, you can choose how you want to structure your own project, which might make it a bit easier for a beginner, and is also preferable maybe to someone who comes from a functional background. Having choice is always a good thing. Number 6, no more null pointer exceptions. Often referred to as the billion-dollar mistake, null pointer exceptions are one of the most common errors in Java and one of the most common reasons that your apps on Android crash. So Kotlin attempts to do away with this, making the whole process much simpler with null safety. Basically, it's just one more way that Kotlin makes coding a little bit easier and a bit more friendly for beginners. Number 7, might not sound like a big deal, no semicolons. Basically, in Java, every line has to end with a semicolon, which sounds like not a big deal, but it is a lot of punctuation over the course of millions of lines, and not only that, but you can end up hunting to find where you've missed one. Basically, Kotlin allows you to use semicolons, but it doesn't enforce it, so you won't have that little error to worry about. Number 8 is that there's no overhead to using Kotlin. So the standard library is very small, and basically this means that using Kotlin to build your apps isn't going to make them any larger, and it isn't going to make them any slower. So there's really no downside. If you do prefer Kotlin, give it a go. Number 9, there's already good support for Kotlin. So while it's new that Android Studio will support Kotlin development out of the box, people have been developing Android apps with Kotlin for a while thanks to a plugin. This means there's already a ton of resources, forums, sample projects, etc., and you're not going it alone. You're not exploring entirely new ground. Number 10, learning new languages is always a good thing. So if you already know Java, why not learn Kotlin? It's not too different from Java, meaning you can pick it up quickly, and then you'll be adding an extra string to your bow and expanding your skill set. Kotlin is also used in some server-side development and web apps, so in general, it's a useful thing to know. It could help you get a job someday, or it could just come in handy for a personal project. And there are many more benefits to using Kotlin as well that I haven't gone over in this video. For example, exceptions are unchecked, and you can use lambda expressions. Basically, Kotlin is a slightly more modern programming language, and it's probably a bit easier, like I said, if you're new to Android app development. Certainly worth trying out, there's no harm in it, so give it a go. Hope you found this video useful, guys. If you did, please consider leaving a like, maybe sharing it around, and leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about Kotlin development and whether you're going to be adopting it into your own workflow going forwards. And of course, check out AndroidAuthority.com for more on Kotlin, Java, and Android in general, for we are your source on all things Android.